lots of damage being put down here.
The footage is taking out null there, and he
Yeah.
undid as well with an amazing rocket there. He seems to be the key player tonight for zFg in terms of damage output. He's already at 1.4k damage after 3 rounds. Now, that is a hell of a lot of damage, ladies and gents, and he's just delivered a rail as well, taking him to 1.5. So he's really performing well. Looks to take down Spaceman if he continues to hit that algae. That was amazing stuff.
I must say, Fulton's really impressed me so far. Like you said, his damage output is incredibly high. But not only is his damage output high, he manages to capitalize on frags as well. Oh, he manages a sick rail.
Clipped.
That was a sick rail. You know, stepping just outside, you know, having his opponent miss the rail and him hitting it. That was an excellent piece of work.
This
oh, he manages another one. He actually takes another round.
Amazing. That was brilliant. Fantastic rail. Well played zFg, well played to Fulton there. Completely acing that round, if I believe. That was brilliant.
I'd actually like to watch a little bit more of him. I'm actually spectating him at the moment. And
Getting caught out there, unfortunately, with some solid algae, taking a rail immediately on the exit, but managing to take down Undead.
Oh, and he actually still manages to land a rail after being on 3 HP and hitting Spaceman with another rail. I must say, fantastic. He's really impressing me so far tonight.
His performance is amazing. Seriously, MVP of the match by far.
I must say, he really seems to be like the glue, you know, holding the zFg guys together. And now manages a nice double rail. Oh,
Spaceman just... If anyone saw... or if anyone could see that rail from Spaceman's perspective, that was insane. Complete flick reaction rail, caught someone right up at the tip of the entrance to Yellow Armor Algae area. It was a brilliant shot.
Oh, another nice rail on VP. It's a 1 versus 1 scenario now. Stacks, George Quake is on 51 HP, my apologies, and he actually does go down to Spaceman. It just shows you, if you are low HP, you know, the other players quickly communicate that to each other. You know, when you're in a reliable position, you take a rail, you quickly lose a round.
Of course, communication is key in a team-based mode.
I quite like to see what GH are doing. You know, they are still a round down at this point in time, but they are fighting back quite well at this point in time.
We've seen some solid team play. GH seems to be sticking together rather effectively, but just I'm just not sure. I think zFg have just they find it somewhere.
I don't know. It just feels like they've sort of lost that momentum. You know, they had such good momentum. They were up 3-1, and now it just feels like they've sort of thrown caution to the wind, charging down the GH players. You know, playing very, very aggressively. And you know, it's a little bit strange considering, you know, Hidden Fortress is a very campy map. You know, you can play this map very defensively, you know, and sort of eliminate the pure aim difference between it. But it doesn't seem like zFg is actually opting for that, sort of opting more for the pure aggressive style, like their clan suggests, you know, 0 beeps given.
That's actually quite true. So I'm just watching Undead here. He's had a fantastic patch of the play. Just great aim in general. God's Hammer have taken the 4th round, so 1 up towards God's Hammer. A seriously nice comeback there. They've you can see they've banded together definitely more closely as a team for this game, or for Hidden Fortress more specifically. They're playing in a lot tighter quarters, and the thing about Hidden Fortress is these tunnels at the back of the map are so tight that it's so easy to be caught out there or trapped by 2 or 3 players. And you know, one player, it doesn't matter who you are, being jumped by 3 players in a CA game you're dead. You're not getting out of that alive.
I fully agree. You know, being in such a small area, being bounced by a rocket once, you know, will almost immediately mean death. You know,
yes,
especially if there's more than 1 player around you from the other team. You know, we are seeing some back and forth here from Fulton. He's actually the last player alive on zFg side. I'd actually like to see what he's doing so far, and actually just gets rushed down by Calypt. And it looks like Undead. So a little bit unfortunate for him there, but I must say again, you know, I'm watching him play, and the decisions he makes, you know, very seldomly on the decisions he makes bad. His damage output is really great, and this is awesome to see what we're seeing here now, ladies and gentlemen. Both teams sticking together with their guns, all 4 players on each team engaging in a big area. That was awesome to see. Oh, Burton actually, unfortunately, goes down to Spaceman, but once again, nearly doubling this next person in zFg, score with his damage output. He's really impressed me tonight so far.
I'm still watching Spaceman at the moment, and he's managed to land some fantastic algae and a rail. George Quake goes down, unfortunately, seconds after Spaceman leaves the room, and they've taken another round. So this utter aggressive playstyle that you spoke about a few seconds ago, I see that now clearly coming through for God's Hammer. They really decided to put the pressure on and keep that momentum from the runs they picked up earlier. And unfortunately, ZFG haven't quite been able to find a block or a stop to this yet. So the rampage of the onslaught continues. I don't know. Let's see what ZFG can do.
You can see that God's Hammer is smelling blood. They're going in for the kill, going straight for the jugular. What I would like to see ZFG do is sort of slow the game's pace down a little bit, bring it down to sort of a more manageable level. Take away the pace, the advantage that God's Hammer has got over them. And sort of maybe, like I said, spam a little bit more. Use the map to their advantage. At this point in time, it just sort of seems that they just intend to bring damage, and God's Hammer is punishing them for that.
Yeah, definitely.
And as I say that, we actually see a bit of more of a defensive play from zFg. This is much better. Sort of putting back, the God's Hammer's players. And what I like to see is from God's Hammer is they do respect the spam. They realize that you can't just simply enter into an area that is being spammed. The damage you take from going to there, can lead to one or two players death quickly. And as I say that, all hell breaks loose, and you just got massive DPS going out from all teams.
The God's Hammer really looks like they've taken walked away the best in that situation. Managing to win the round there, and we're sitting with 9-3 right now, ladies and gents. So this is match point.
Indeed, I'd like to see what Burton's actually doing at the moment. Oh, and he gets caught between three guys with lots of energy damage and takes rocket. Oh, this is actually very hard for him.
That was
down to 47 HP. Oh, it lands a nice roll though. And we see Null just camping it up with two hit points, sending some cheeky rockets, and actually manages to take down Burton. It just shows you, the incredible aim some of the God's Hammer players have got on their team. Oh, and Pete actually takes down Null, and he manages to get down undead as well. And this just turned into a 3v3 situation to a 3v1 situation. Spaceman
He still has a fantastic stack though.
Oh yes, this it wouldn't surprise me.
He manages to take the round.
Yep.
Absolutely beautiful.
Shows you the difference in stack. And zFg managed to hold on with just this tiny sliver of hope. And let's see if they can pull another one through.
God's Hammer is so aggressive, just trying to pick away at zFg here, but unfortunately they just don't have that positional advantage. It's really difficult. It's really difficult to enter the sort of the tele exit area because they're all choke points.
Yeah, no,
so easy to spam it.
God's Hammer do use that to their advantage. They try and not fight in the small areas, which is good positioning. We do see VP actually going out to more open areas.
Amazing rails there, Bandal.
And some more trash talking going on before the game ends, and that's it, ladies and gentlemen. The second map, 10-4. Most damage is actually done by Fulton. Well done.
Yeah, particularly well played to Fulton. That was a fantastic performance. We see Spaceman rocking 48% algae, and some of the stats disappeared there, but they were awfully high. We had some 33s, 28s, yeah, all solid aims, and it was a fantastic game actually. Do you know if we're going to have any more maps? Anyone?
I actually thought I saw one of the zFg guys ask for TM. I'm not too sure if that's going to happen. So it does look like they are keen on maybe another map.
Vote.
5v5 with bomb plane. I must say though, it's refreshing to see, some trash talking going on, but nothing being taken too seriously, both sides being quite jovial about it, doing the trash talking, but at the same time, not getting disrespectful. It just adds to the feeling in the community of Quake, because if you grew up with Quake like I have, like yourself, Nick, you should know by now that trash talking is very much a part of the game. There's the meta aspect of the game, unsettling your opponent, a bit of trash talking, nothing too serious, nothing too personal.
Hell yes. A particular favorite of mine in the community is obviously Azel.
Oh yes.
He's amazingly funny to keep online. I wish that guy would come back.
2, 1.
Having said that, we actually just gone live with our third map, which is Almost Lost.
Brilliant.
We actually see Baseman doing quite a bit of damage there already, manages to take down one of the zFg players. And once again, just with the pure flat out rushing aggression being seen here from God's Hammer, and some more trash talking going on there. I'd not like to repeat that on stream, but zFg definitely living up to their team name.
Almost Lost is an interesting map choice for them. They seem to enjoy the really tight spaces.
I've also noticed that they do like, they've got quite heavy railers, so you can see that coming through in their playstyle. But just quickly looking at God's Hammer, we actually see Void being swapped out with Undead actually spectating this game. I wonder if it was a conscious decision or if they just wanted to have Void get some game time.
I think it's more the latter. I mean, there was nothing particularly wrong with Null's performance. Null obviously taking the round there, or winning the game on Hidden Fortress with that 2 rails towards the end. But yeah, I think it's more. I think it's more just Void looking to get some game time.
I'm not sure if you saw that, but Fulton just managed to land 2 rail hits, killing 2 players in succession on 1 HP.
I did not see that at all.
He is solo, even just a slight wind or breeze will kill him at this point in time, and he is actually staying away. He actually does go down to Void.
Round begins in 3,
So
2.
Void's actually doing quite well, 4 for nothing at the moment. Kalip doing particularly well, 6 for scratch. So Void just using the patient rail.
I do like what I'm seeing from the players using the small areas to their advantage. Rounds are so quick, we can barely keep up. To our viewers out there, guys, casting this is actually quite hard. I think we should have maybe stocked up on some players or Monster Energy drinks, because these games and rounds are happening so fast, so quick. Literally within seconds, you've got 3 or 4 guys going down.
Monster would be pretty good right now.
Of course, Monster, if you guys are listening.
Anyway, we're back on CA here, and zFg have managed to pick up around. George Quake just picking up the rail there, and we've seen them take the first round on Almost Lost. So, do you think they can keep the little bit of momentum they've gathered right now? They seem to be playing really defensive, and Void's just picking away at their front runner George here, and George having to escape. Not taking too much damage though, but Void aggressive as hell, pushing through that algae, going down eventually to GibGod. That was quite an interesting passage to play. Void managing to do some damage to almost every player there, but eventually going down, and Null just picking up the rail there onto GibGod, winning the round. So 5-1 in favor of God's Hammer, ladies and gents. This is looking, yeah, they seem to be really comfortable as a team, God's Hammer as it is. As you mentioned earlier, zFg aren't quite sticking together enough in order to do damage to a particular player and then peck away at the rest of them. But as you can see, God's Hammer are just making brilliant use of the natural aim that they have in their team.
Right now, they are just absolutely messing up zFg. They are just left, right, and center. In the last 2 rounds, 2 of their players were above 150 HP stack. At this point in time, you can really see the aim, coming into play. But what I do like to see about, from zFg is when they do win rounds, they aren't just winning it with single players. They're winning it with 2 or 3 players still alive, which does show you that, they are quite capable of working together as a team. But, I believe the spam is not really, all that good to stop the Russian players from coming through. When Void managed to push through that one round doing damage to all 4 players, that happening shows you the quality of play that he's capable of, but it also shows you the lack of, the defensive play on zFg. A player pushing through like that shouldn't be able to do that much damage, if good spam is being put down.
That's true. That is very true. Do you think it's more just experience in terms of their knowledge of the game and how to handle situations of that sort? Or is this actually a lack in teamwork or lacking coordination between zFg right now?
I think Void, a lot of his decision making comes from experience, obviously identifying that the enemy team is not, using spam as much as they can. I'm actually watching Spaceman now, using the same example. Spaceman saw that the enemy had a railgun in, moved in, popped him with a rocket up in the air, and actually managed to kill him. So some really good decision making individual, by the individuals play, using the weak spots to their advantage from zFg. But yes, I actually think the big thing I would probably say at this point in time is the experience.
Yeah, well, on that, can I just say something quickly? As a team, zFg only really started playing together this year, so they are still very new at CA, and most of the players haven't been for more than 2 years, compared to the G8 guys. So yes, it's taking experience, but zFg, I think they've actually started to really form a team together, which is nice to see from my side at least.
Oh no,
No, I
definitely.
completely agree.
I agree. It's nice to see teams coming sort of out of the woodwork and are pitching into these friendly games, and this is really what we want to what we want to see, and what we want to do is to keep the community alive, having teams such as zFg, having teams such as GH, join the other well-established teams, playing more games, getting the experience, because after all, the only way you get more experience is by playing. But I will say this, I've been really impressed with Furton's play tonight. VP I haven't seen much of. His aim is very, very good. I see a lot of potential in the zFg guys, and you can clearly see that there's a big gap in experience between the players, as Aiden, quite clearly pointed out. But, that's not the only limiting factor here. You can see the zFg guys are fighting back. I just like to see them stick around or stick together a little bit more, to sort of punish the extremely aggressive play from God's Hammer.
This map in particular, I'm not too fond of. It's always... I've never enjoyed the patient game. I enjoy Quake for its speed and the outright aggression you can have in terms of playstyle. So regardless of who I go against, I've always preferred, well, to hell with it, I'm just going to attack. But this map seems to breed a very defensive playstyle naturally by either team. And by default, the area that everyone seems to charge for is that nest in the front of the map. So we see God's Hammer traditionally taking this position, and Null just raining down fantastic damage there, managing to take down Furton and do a hell of a lot of damage to another zFg player, just coming up that center jump pad.
Oh no, I'm actually just watching this, and he has done so much damage this round. He's on 607 damage for this round, 57 LG. That is phenomenal.
So, as I mentioned, God's Hammer just seemed to know that the center or nest area of Overkill is key to this map. Controlling this at the round start is your sort of stronghold, and you're able to branch out into the rest of the map after the initial confrontation. So it gives you a lot of leeway with regard to the rest of the map, because 90% of the time the enemy are already going to be low from that initial confrontation. And just because you had upper ground at the start, you've managed to retain so much of that stack can really push through and roll with the map.
Well, then it just really becomes a number game, as you can see
Yeah.
at the moment. You know, just having 3 GH players, you know, rush down a zFg guy. You know, you can see it's just a pure numbers game. If you can manage to keep that stack, it sort of, you know, eliminates the aim factor a little bit. You know, if you've got 3 guys versus 1, you know, the one guy will definitely go down unless, you know, the other 3 guys are very low stack. And you can see, you know, God's Hammer using that to their full advantage. You know, like you said, using the upper ground advantage. That, you know, positioning is so incredibly important in Quake Live, especially in, you know, CA where, you know, items aren't on the map. You know, where aim and positioning becomes quite. And Spaceman actually manages to get knocked into the lava by one of the zFg guys waiting around the corner, pops him in a rocket, and down he goes.
That's unlucky. I hate when that happens though. That's so unfortunate.
It's a good strategy to use, I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah, definitely. A well-placed rocket will send you flying off into that mist so quickly.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, that's an insta-kill right there. You know, you don't even have a choice of getting out. But, you know, zFg sort of, Gib got, you know, doing some good work upstairs at the nest area, you know, doing some good damage. You know, we're currently in a 3v4 situation, and I'd just like to see the, you know, the zFg guys sort of band together and lay down a bit of spam when you know, the God's Hammer guys do come in. Oh, we see a beautiful flank by Undead on VP. That was actually very well played. Waiting for the other guys to engage first and then hitting him from the back. You know, a very, very good example of how flanking works well.
So again, God's Hammer have just taken Nest, and you see zFg adopting a sort of very defensive playstyle, but Null just managing to pick away at them with some spam. That is why peeking is never a good thing.
So that, you know, God's Hammer, Calip, actually taking a bit of damage there, but it does seem like he is actually lagging a little bit, and VP actually does pay for that bit of damage he's done there. Void just chasing him down there.
So Burton decided to jump between 2 of God's Hammer's players, and unfortunately got taken out rather quickly.
Yeah, you can see that the damage output, you know, when you've got 2 LGs on you, you know, you just die within 30 seconds.
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
just, your HP just melts away, as we can see there by Spaceman, you know, just killing Gimbrod there. You know, you can see Void up here at the top of the, you know, nest, just holding down the area, laying down damage with rails. You know, and it just shows, you can see his damage, you know, 2.3k, you know, 39 average rocket. You know, you can see that the upper ground, having the higher ground, is definitely helping.
Yeah, definitely. They're sort of able to control the momentum of the game as well. Or that they control just in outright aim. So, I mean, they decide when to push and then when to leave right now, as it seems. But, yeah, zFg, unfortunately, just not managing to pick up these kills. They're doing damage. I mean, if you look at Furton, rocking 1.8k damage as well as Pete, it's not like they're not hitting. So I think it's just more the cohesion between the team. If you look at God's Hammer right now, they seem to be just pushing in packs, 2 at a time, 2 or 3 at a time, and it works. You know, it's a solid strategy.
Yeah, no, you definitely can't fault them for that. You know, you've got 2 players, one with a good stack leading, you know, and there's the one behind them doing good damage as well, and you've got a guy flanking, you know, and you're being shot from 3 different directions, which makes it difficult for any player to respond to that, you know, which is, once again, why it's so incredibly important to stick together. Speaking of sticking together, you actually see the zFg guys taking the nest this time, and it's actually paying off dividends for them this round.
I was just about to mention that. I see Null's been forced down, and we're down to a 2v2. Null and Spaceman up against Pete and Lomac. Peach is going down, unfortunately, there.
And Spaceman actually does decide to visit the mist again, it seems. It seems like he's got timeshare there. Does decide to jump into there. I'm not sure if he was knocked into a rocket there. At this point in time, we've got decent stack for Null. Lomac is on 94 HP. And Null is aware of where Lomac is. Just a quick question though. Do you know if they've disabled free spec?
I have no idea.
Round begins in 3.
Quite interesting. I'd like to know, to check maybe. At this point in time, it does seem like God's Hammer are going to take this game 10-0. They are currently up 8-0. You know, just punishing the zFg guys for being alone. Any 1v1 situation, you can just clearly see the, you know, the big aim difference. You know, and this is something that I'd like to see from, you know, teams in the future as well. It's just, you know, negate the aim advantage from the other team by sticking together as a team, sticking together as a pack. You know, 5v1ing a guy, and, you know, just abusing that team stack that you've got.
As I mentioned, God's Hammer just really close teamwork, pushing through with some good coordination and taking advantage of the fact they are strong aimers. And we see them taking this round 10-0. So GG, well played to God's Hammer. There was some solid teamwork there, and I think that's a really good example. Ladies and gents, if you'd like to see a good example of teamwork and just coordination in general, I definitely suggest you watch Overkill here this evening. That was some really solid work there. Well played to zFg. We saw some, well, I'm sure they can walk away learning a great strategy as using God's Hammer as a great strategy going forward. So,
oh yeah, definitely. You know what any person or any team should take away from this, you know, specifically from that round. You know, it's not really about losing 10-0. It's not really about getting owned, if you want to put it that way. You know, what that helps is it gives zFg good experience versus a really strong team, really strong individual players. You know, it shows them, you know, which areas they need to work on, which areas they excel at, you know, and, you know, it's really very much a learning experience, you know. And the nice thing about, you know, if you really want to put it that way, about, I would say, weaker teams or less experienced teams, playing really strong teams, you know, is like power leveling sort of in Diablo. Playing really strong teams all the time helps you adapt to the game a lot quicker than playing teams of equal level. Playing teams of equal level doesn't really show you the gaps in your play, it doesn't really show you the weaknesses in your strengths, but playing a really strong team does. You know, so it's not all negative. You know, I saw a lot of good stuff coming from both teams. I saw, you know, not as good stuff from both teams actually. You know, and you can obviously attribute that to, you know, the players not playing together as much. You know, the team cohesion is not there, but, you know, all in all, very enjoyable so far. You know, I really can't fault both teams all that much. You know, just a few small niggles, but UEC, this is actually what, map 6, map 5 going live.
yeah, I think this is map 4. So we're on Asylum at the moment, and I'm speaking Furton at the moment. He's been a player that both Senshi and I enjoyed, or really have enjoyed watching this evening, laying down some solid performance, and as we did mention, just been taken down there. Yeah,
Ouch.
gets taken down there quite easily by 3 of God's Hammer's players. So they're off to a rather sluggish start on Asylum here.
Yeah, and Asylum also very much lends to the sort of camping, you know, rail heavy style where you can spam from a long area, you know, and I'm surprised to see not any of the teams really using that. You know, you do have some rails and some spam being done, you know, but both teams are, you know, quite keen and intent on moving around on the map. You know, at this point in time, we actually managed to see zFg take down a few of the God's Hammers players before falling themselves, you know, which really shows you that, you know, both teams are quite intent on playing the aggressive game.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, not to take anything away from God's Hammer, but zFg are impressing me just in terms of outright aggression. No fear at all, just, you know, big balls to the wall, and exactly as the name says, you know. So, yeah, I'm really enjoying this Asylum. There's some really cool shots coming from the zFg guys.
You know, it's a good thing, you know, in certain aspects. You know, it does teach you as a Quake Life player how to deal with aggression, you know, how to be aggressive yourself, you know, what to do in that situation. You know, there are a lot of positive things, you know, to be taken from this. What I would like to see, though, specifically from God's Hammer, though, is maybe a little bit more of restraint, you know, to show that, you know, not only are they a team of phenomenal players, you know, but also a team that can, you know, use discretion and, for instance, you know, patience to their advantage. You know, I mean, not every team out there, you know, will play the aggressive game, and I really feel at this point in time that God's Hammer has sort of lured zFg to play their game, which is aggressive, in your face, you know, LG out, 4 guys versus 1 game. And, you know, I think that zFg hasn't really realized that and adopted to it yet.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. So we see God's Hammer taking the 5th round here on Asylum. That's
Round begins in
I'm not going to say it was a surprise. I just wish zFg, as you can see from round start, the zFg are very hell-bent on taking one-on-one situations where they could be taking advantage of the 5v1 situation. And that's so important in a clan arena, especially since they're going up a team that has, well, are stronger in terms of aim and just, you know, have more experience in, or situational experience in Quake Live. So they should really be banding together more as a team and then taking down or working away at God's Hammer stack.
No, I agree. You know, what I would like to see is, and you know, this is, I almost want to blame public CA for a lot of what you're seeing here is the same way sort of a player, you know, any good player would approach public CA, sort of, you know, every man for himself, and not really, you know, every for himself, you know. And you know, you can see that quite a bit on God's Hammer's side as well. You know, you get your Null, you get your Spaceman, they just sort of venture off on their own, and you know, just they do absurd amount of damage. You know, you can't take that away from them. But at the same time, you know, you also see them, you know, doing the solo thing. That's very much something that public CA, you know, has sort of taught our players in the community.
I completely agree with you there. I'm very guilty of that myself. I rather enjoy the solo play in CA because I can keep my frustration levels to a minimum. In public CA, as you know, it's just a general spam fest, and I become easily infuriated with catching team spam and pushing me into corners I don't want to be in. And you know, I mean, you've played countless times. I'm sure it's happened, but you know, it is, as you said, unfortunate.
You always get people complaining that people leave them alone and run away. Because of fuckers like you. There's my one swear word, I'm sorry.
We'll feed Bob some soap after this. It's all good. But you know, I mean, I have to agree there with Bob. You know, one of the things I have to do, or at least try to do, is when I do play, you know, is I try and sort of look at the game in a team perspective and try and play with my teammates as teammates. You know, not seeing them as simply, you know, meat shields taking up the damage while I deal it, you know, but actually trying to help them in a situation and just trying to sort of play the numbers game, helping a teammate out when he's being attacked, laying down some cover fire, cover spam, you know, and that sort of things, you know, you can do in a public CA game. And obviously there are some things you can't work as, you know, cohesion as a team, working together as a unit, that sort of thing. But on your individual skill, you know, you can teach yourself to sort of move away from the, you know, Superman, you know, sort of Chuck Norris, you know, Leroy Jenkins, just want everybody for himself moving in, you know, plus forward style of playing.
Yeah, definitely.
round begins in 3,
Alright.
2, 1. Fight.
Alright guys, well I hope you guys have enjoyed our cast so far tonight. I've really been enjoying the games we've been seeing so far, and the occasional clips we've been hearing from Gobs in the background. Rick, your thoughts so far?
Well, I've really enjoyed the CA. It's been some really fun games this evening, and some fantastic play by,
Red wins.
you know, Fearton, as you mentioned earlier, and then just God's Hammer in general played fantastically well tonight, just showing through, or just really showing the experience in terms of, you know, length of individual play, or length of individual play, and just amazing outright teamwork. zFg, lacking the experience, as Aiden mentioned earlier, they are a relatively new team still, but being able to play at the level they have this evening, I'm really looking forward to seeing them in a couple of months after they play together. You know, we do have them registered for the DGL, which is going to see them together for quite some time, because as we all know, the DGL, or one of the DGL's rules, is you can't really change teams mid-season. So we're definitely going to see zFg, or this zFg team, grow together in terms of experience, talent, aim. So hopefully in a few months we can have a rematch between these two teams and see some, see some different results.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. You know, I really like what I've seen so far tonight. You know, neither team really did a lot of, you know, or anything really, really bad or really wrong. You know, a lot of positive came out of the games. You know, it was a little bit one-sided, but you know, just going into the game, you can see that, you know, the God's Hammer players just have the edge at this point in time in terms of raw aim and maybe individual skill. But once again, this comes down to, this is CA, this is not duel. It is a team game, and team cohesion plays a bigger role in the game than just pure raw aim. You can be the best fake player in the world, and I can guarantee you, if you're going up against 5 guys all with L's, you are going to die, definitely. So there's a lot of positive I think the zFg guys can take away from this. Congratulations to God's Hammer for their really excellent performance so far tonight. But I would like to see them also, like I said a little bit earlier, show some little bit of restraint, show that they can actually play the intelligent game, maybe a little bit more passive game, use the map to their advantage, because when they've also entered into DGL, when they start playing stronger teams, you simply can't just plus forward into an area and expect to get kills.
Yeah, definitely true. Definitely true. But saying that at the same time, it's exactly the thing we saw God's Hammer do this evening, and because they have the confidence and teamwork together, they can take advantage of that and really push through into those situations that you wouldn't expect any team to walk away from. But as we mentioned earlier, there's some fantastic plays in God's Hammer as well. So yeah, generally I enjoyed the CA this evening. It was a really little fun public challenge. I don't know who did the challenge come from, zFg or from God's Hammer?
I'm actually not too sure, to be honest. I think it was from zFg. But what I would like to say, and this goes out to the whole community, if you guys are listening to the stream or watching this, after the stream's gone live, and you guys are sitting here, watching this, now I urge you guys, do the same thing. Get a couple of mates together, start a team, come play against some of the better guys. It is a massive amount of fun. It's a very much a run and gun game. If you guys are enjoying what you're seeing, there's always a lot of fun, in Quake to be had, like Nick said, the public CAs, etc. But, I really like to see, up and coming teams, taking the initiative, challenging another team, and, going, like you said, balls to the wall, playing a few maps, 5 or 6 maps, and, just having a ball of it. It's refreshing to see, people actually playing the game and not just, public CAing all the time. The same can be said about the TDM we had the other night. It's refreshing to see some of the other game modes being played, new teams entering, the arena, some incredible skill hiding. I mean, Furton has absolutely just impressed me, beyond belief tonight. I mean, I can't believe the guy's got such incredible aim and map control, and I mean, where's he been hiding?
Very, very true. We saw some brilliant play from Furton tonight. Much better than what I was expecting, and yeah, I think zFg have invested in a solid play there. So I hope he uses that, or that. Not sure if he's played before, if that's just natural talent, but I hope he invests that back into zFg and helps improve or helps provide the experience or impart some knowledge back into the rest of his team there, so you can see zFg growing from strength to strength.
Oh no, I agree. I mean, Tolgrath, you're listening in the background, Aiden. He's definitely a guy you want to keep. Use him, abuse him, share that.
Yep, I'm here.
Share that experience and aim you've got there. He's definitely a benefit to your team. He's definitely an asset, and you want to keep him. You want to grow him into a really good player.
Well, if he's anything like his brother, then he's gonna get there with shortly anyway. So, yeah.
Who is his brother?
Spaceman.
Ah, okay, all right.
So yeah, we bagged a good fish there.
Yeah, no, I would definitely say keep him. Use him as much as you can. All in all, like I said, it really wasn't bad games. It was a bit one-sided, like I said, but that was to be expected. But I really like what zFg put in. All right, guys. I think we can sort of close off at this point in time. Nick, can we maybe try and get a couple more teams to try and maybe do this next week? Maybe over the weekend when it's public holidays?
I don't know what everyone's schedule is going to be like. Public holidays are notoriously difficult to arrange stuff with people going away and visiting family, and it's kind of awkward having them over and streaming and casting at the same time. But I'm definitely keen if we can find. Sorry, Gobs, what was that?
nAvGamingTV will be streaming the Liberty Land CS:GO tournament this weekend.
There we go, fantastic.
Just while we're talking about events, I would just like to quickly inform people who have not seen the posts on the Quake Live South Africa page on Facebook about the zFg community duel ladder. It's really just for fun, you know, give people a chance to challenge people better than themselves all the time, and just really improve and hopefully build spirits within the community. So if you play duel, don't be scared, just come join up, it will be lots of fun, I promise. Thank you.
Thank you, Aiden. That's
Pleasure.
pretty cool, man. So, zFg getting involved in the community, guys, prepared to host a friendly community fun ladder for everyone to take part in. As Aiden did mention, it is dual mode, so if you are interested or would be keen to just practice duel in general, you've got the opportunity coming up rather shortly.
Awesome.
But
Yeah.
as
Sorry,
Senshi mentioned, ladies and gents, we are going to be closing up this evening, so I'd just like to thank everyone for joining me. Peter, thank you very much, man. Awesome to have you on the first show. That's my
Thanks for having me.
Gobs, Aiden, and as always in the background, Burning Red, Nathaniel. Thank you, man.
Pleasure.
Cool. And Aiden for obviously zFg for hosting the comp or the friendly this evening. So thanks again for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. Till we see you next time. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Okay, guys, but